Hey again, it's me, and I am back with some interesting new things to think about. So, I started seeking therapy last August as a way to deal with some of the pressures that I felt then, and then continued to stay with monthly therapy, um, even though, the issues of the time were gone. So, not really dealing with depression or PMDD or mood swings or anything, but just as a way of maintaining mental health balance, seeing a therapist, checking in with the state of the mind of Brandi, and the emotions of Brandi to make sure I am on the right track. In the same way that, you check in on your goals or you do an annual physical, or not an annual physical because that's a review. More so the same way that you go to the gym and work out, to make sure your body stays on the right track. I go to the therapist to make sure that I'm mentally still on track. And an interesting conversation today with my therapist about some of the feelings of anxiety that I've been having around my goals. So as you saw in that first video that I made before starting the series of daily videos, I have these big, audacious goals. Like, I want to be a millionaire. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be a stay-at-home mom. And I have these different things that I'm aspiring to have, be, and do. And not being there sometimes is a point of tension. And so I shared with my therapist my goal sheet. So my goal sheet, I can show it on the screen here. It is an amalgamation of all of my priorities, my 3-year expected vision or my 3-year envisioned outcome, my 1-year metric or 1-year goal to make that 3-year reality a possibility, quarterly metrics, monthly accountability actions, and tracking of my monthly goals. So I showed her the whole sheet and gave her the example for motherhood for children, which is a big aspiration of mine. And showed her like my 3-year outcome is being a stay-at-home mom at this point, and this is my child, and I'd be pregnant with the second one. 1-year outcome is just to go and do a preconception visit to see if I'm physically on the right track for having kids, and then the different monthly outcomes. So I think I was showing her March, and by March I want to come up with 10 questions to ask my doctor to prepare, ask my doctor who I get my annual physical from, so that I can be referred to a preconception OB or a doctor, someone who I could talk to about conceiving. So I showed her this, and she was like, yeah, you have a lot of goals. And in summary, what she shared with me is something that's contrary to a lot of the advice that I've been given by coaches and personal growth gurus and everything. Everyone talks about SMART goals, having these goals that are specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and time-bound. And she told me that my goals may be a bit too specific, to the point where if something happens around that goal, she was like, I wonder for you, if you were to make $500,000 instead of $1 million by this timeline, would you feel that you didn't meet your goal? And I'm thinking, yeah, I didn't meet my goal. My goal is $1 million. If I make 500,000, that's not where I want to be. And she's saying that can set you up for disappointment, and also having goals with such tight timelines, and such specific deliverables. $1 million not being the specific one, but there was like having a girl and, all of these things. She's like, would you be disappointed if you had a boy or 2 boys instead of a boy and a girl? And so being a little loose with those goals, or having those big dreams, but not looking at them as often. So there were a few points of advice she gave me. She told me for my 3-year vision, not to look at that once a month, which is currently what I'm doing. I'm looking at those once a month, right? She said, maybe, work on your monthly goals and yearly goals and look at those 3-year goals maybe once a year. She also mentioned the timeline, maybe being a little bit lax with those 3-year goal timelines, and just focus on the next 6 months. So focus on only what's ahead of you, and letting that bigger aspiration just be a loftier goal versus a very specific, hardcore, tight-knit goal. And we talked about how I tend to sort of live in the space of black and white, on or off. It's either good or it's not. And how that is manifesting in some of the ways I'm feeling about where I am in life. Because she was saying, for a 28-year-old, I'm doing pretty good. And yet the fact that I'm feeling off track or a little behind is a side effect of the pressure that I'm putting on myself for these goals. She said, it looks like based on the scorecard that I have for my goals, I'm actually grading myself on whether I'm making progress or not, but not doing so in a way where I'm celebrating the progress I'm making, but almost looking at it from a deficit mindset. And all that's very true. But one insight that she shared it was an aha, even though it was something very simple that she said, but I was just like, I need to noodle on that some more. She said, just because something isn't perfect in the way you envision it being perfect, doesn't mean it can't be perfect. So we were talking about the marriage celebration that I'm currently planning, because me and Don got married in January. And me having this feeling of anxiety for planning this event, because the way that I envision it is not what currently is on the table, and that makes me feel like I don't want to do it at all. I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's just overwhelming. And she's like, what's a compromise? Maybe you could do both, like what the option is and what you envision, and maybe what will happen will be better than you initially envisioned. And so I'm in the space of recognition that I do move from goal to goal to goal. Despite hosting Toast to You once a month and hosting a space where women are celebrating themselves for their progress, I still recognize I'm not taking enough time to acknowledge and honor and celebrate my progress. And I'm also, once a goal is met, not looking at that, taking time to revel in that. So I know, for example, before I was married, there was this huge pressure to want to be married. Like, this is a huge part of my journey, a huge goal of mine. And by being not married, I was not where I wanted to be in life. And then I got married, and now I'm on to being a millionaire and having kids. Like, I haven't publicly announced it really to like my friends outside of, my immediate circle that I'm married. So haven't really done that. Haven't had a celebration. Haven't had a honeymoon. Haven't done anything to acknowledge that I took this big, huge step. Like, being married is nothing simple. Getting to the point of being married took a lot of work for both my spouse and myself. So yeah, I think I have some things to mull over and some things to not mull over. I also talked about my monthly assessment that I do, the 100-question assessment that I do of the state of my life every month. And she's like, maybe not doing that so often. And a piece of advice that she gave, I think was the most helpful, was your goals, your aspirations, your dreams, they should excite you. They should energize you. They should fuel you to work towards them. If working on your goals or your visions or your dreams is something that's exhaustive, or gives you feelings of anxiety, or depresses you, you may want to reevaluate the ways in which you are setting goals and assessing your progress. So I realized that today is one of the days where I'm behind on my weekly review, and so the thought of doing a weekly review is like, oh, that's another thing I have to do. And then my monthly review is coming up because April just ended, so that's another thing I have to do. And so, similar to some advice that she gave me in an earlier session, that I need to relinquish some of the structure and allow things to flow, I'm going to let go. Let go of some of the pressure that I've been putting on myself to perform and excel. And though I am not where I'd ideally like to be, I am still on the path. I'm still on my journey. I'm not Rosetta Thurman yet, but I'll never be Rosetta Thurman because she's Rosetta Thurman. But I am not a location independent entrepreneur. I am not a millionaire. I am not a mother. But I am a 28-year-old woman who takes good care of her health. I'm currently eating cabbage slaw that I made. I adult very well. I'm adulting. I'm eating a meal that I made myself. I have clean laundry. My house is clean. My bills are paid. I have debt, but I'm not in debt. Like, I'm doing freaking good. And I'm not saying that as a bragging point, but I'm just saying to remind myself and affirm for myself that I'm on the path. So, if there was anything 50-year-old Brandi would say, it'd be relax. Everything works out. Not in the way that you envision it, but it all works out in the best way possible. And let's keep riding. Let's keep going on this journey called life. So, again, I'll continue to check in with you guys about where I am on this journey and what I'm learning, what things I am trying. Today it was therapy and it's been very helpful. I actually feel a little more grounded and relaxed now that I don't have to do so much goal setting for May. I'm going to ease up on the heaviness of my goals for May and see if that works. And the great thing about any of this stuff is that you and I can try methods, we can try practices, we can try tips, tricks, and tools and see if they work. And if they do, that's great. If they energize us, that's awesome. If they drain us and they don't work, we don't have to keep doing them. And that's the lesson that I've learned today. So I'm going to finish eating this salad and then move on with the half day that I have off of work. And I will talk to you later. Hope you found this video nourishing, mind, body, or soul. And remember that change is inevitable, but growth is a choice. I am Brandi Keeler, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.